What's going on, guys? So today I'm gonna have a little financial talk, an investments video, just for entertainment purposes. If you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor, nor should you take this information as financial advice. This is just a dude who's sharing what he does. And I love investing money, but I'm not a professional. And this is just based on my own personal research and stuff, but you should take these videos as entertainment and not like telling you what you should be doing. Okay, same thing goes with, like, you know, when I do precious metals videos, I have strong opinions on what people should be doing, but I'm not an authority on it. Okay, so, you know, you use your own hard-earned money any way you want. If you want to invest in something, anything, stock market, cryptocurrency, silver, gold, you want to invest in your local aquarium, whatever you're thinking you're going to make money on, seek professional advice. And seek a lot of advice. Don't take one person's opinion. Watch, you know, a dozen videos, you know, read 50 articles, get as much, you know, information as possible before you spend your money. Okay, I just want to make it clear, I'm not giving anyone financial advice. And the biggest tip, even though I'm not giving you advice, you should heed this one bit of advice. Never spend a penny of anything that you don't have to lose. It's so important for people to know that. Everyone gets this idea like, oh, this is great, I'm going to make all this money. You may not. At the end of the day, these are all gambles. Some are very, very secure gambles, but at the end of the day, they aren't, you know, gambles. Any investment, there's a chance to make money, there's a chance to lose money. So that's very important for me to point out there. So anyway, today we're talking about my big moves that I'm making. I sold all my stocks. Now when I say all my stocks, I'll use a little quotes there because I sold like 99% of my stocks. I have another set of stocks, like probably 6 or 7 of them. They're mostly energy stocks, and that is on a different stock exchange, so I didn't even touch those. But the main one, or at least the main stock exchange that I normally use, that had most of my stuff on there, I cleared out today. Sold it all, and then reinvested half of it. And I want to talk about it. I just want to share with you guys, you know, what I think's going on and my opinions and my experience thus far with the stock market. So I've always been interested in the stock market. Back in high school, I had a business class for a quarter of the year, a quarter semester. And what ended up happening was when I went to school, it wasn't a prerequisite to take a foreign language. Like today, I'm sure you have to take a foreign language to probably even graduate high school. But back then, it was kind of like a fun thing. You didn't have to do it at all. But I took like a sampler course. So I had like a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of Italian, a little bit of German, and then the fourth part of the year was a business class where we learned about stocks. That was it. And we played with fake money. You know, teacher gave us a fake $1,000 to invest. We picked stocks, we followed it week after week, and it was kind of cool. It was fun. I really enjoyed that, actually. But it was all fake. And back then I made a little money on my fake money, and I thought that was cool. So it was always in the back of my mind, but I didn't really understand the stock market in and out. You know what I mean? It was just a very basic course. And, you know, how to read, like, you know, tickers and things like that, and to understand you know, highs and lows and, you know, candle charts and things. You know, it wasn't like super in-depth. It was just some basic stuff. So fast forward to the big old pandemic, you know, when the stock market crashed and everyone was just sitting home, a lot of people, like thousands and thousands and thousands of people, started getting interested in investing. All of a sudden, people were talking about cryptocurrency, like seriously. People were talking about, you know, silver and gold, seriously. And people were talking about the stock market. And all of a sudden, average people like me and you started investing in the stock market. When the first stimulus check came, that's what I decided to do. I talked with my wife and I said, look, I'm going to take my half of the stimulus and I'm going to invest it in the stock market for us. And I said, you go ahead and take your half and do whatever you want with it. And that's what I did. And then after my initial investments, I took my own money and a little here, a little there. I sold a couple things, sold some knives, sold some gear, and invested into more stocks. Now, the idea behind this whole thing was, okay, the stock market crashed. Everything's down that is normally up here. So there were certain stocks that I considered safe. And what I mean by safe is that things that I didn't think was going to go away. Like, for example, the majority of my stocks were in travel. You know, all of a sudden, no one was traveling. This was unprecedented. This has never happened before where people just couldn't travel. So I invested in airlines. I invested in like Boeing, Boeing being a massive corporation, but also more importantly, invested in Boeing because the U.S. government uses Boeing to build a lot of their military aircraft, and the American government is not going to let Boeing go out of business. So even if there was a drop in value, it wasn't going to go away. There's other things too, like automotive industry. I don't feel like the United States government's going to let automotive industry just fail. It's too important for our infrastructure. Everyone needs cars and trucks and everything. So just, certain things I felt were like, safe bets, so to speak. And I invested in those, and they all did very well. Every single one of them. My best earner, my best stock was Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. I bought that when it bottomed out, and I just got lucky on timing. That's all. After the pandemic hit, like I said, everything went down here, and it started coming back up, but I caught it on the base. You know what I mean? Like down here. Like if you use this just as an example, everything's stable, everyone's flying, everyone's taking cruises, whatever. Then it went like all the way down here. But as it was going back up, that I got it down here as opposed to up top. And this is what happens a lot of times when something's trending and it's going up, 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 people buy high. But then it goes back down and they panic and they sell and they lose a bunch of money because they don't know what they're doing. I think investing in anything takes a lot of patience. It doesn't matter if you're talking, crypto or metals or stocks or whatever, real estate. It's patience. You have to have patience. You can't panic. You can't freak out, and you can't invest any money that you can't afford to lose. You know what I mean? But when you have a better understanding of certain things, it becomes really fascinating. I mean, the whole thing's a hobby to me. I love it. I mean, I check my stocks every day, and it's cool. And when it's down, maybe you're in a little bit of a bad mood because it's down that day, but then it goes back up next week or whatever, So yeah, there's definitely some emotional investment you're getting into that. I mean, it's hard for you to take your money in your hand and give it to someone hoping to make more, but then it starts to go down. You do get an emotional response from that. It's very tough. It's tough to deal with for some people, and some people are not cut out for it. I'm barely cut out for this because I do get a little stressed, what if I made the wrong decision? But you can't panic. And I didn't. I held strong, and luckily I made out. Not everyone makes out. So my initial investments, again, Royal Caribbean Cruise, a couple different cruise liners, a couple different, aircraft companies, just for travel stuff. I also invested in some entertainment. I tried to diversify a little bit, like I invested in Disney. Obviously, Disney was something that crapped out. No one went there when they were closed, and then it was slow, coming back because no one wanted to go to Disney with masks on and things like that. But I invested in everything I figured would bounce back fine. I didn't think Disney was going to go out of business because of the pandemic. I didn't think, people were just going to stop flying forever. So I picked a lot of energy companies, a lot of things that went down that I felt like have to come back up. They just have to. And they did. They all did. Every single one of my stocks made me money. Except for one, it was one weed stock because I had a couple, and this is a lower part of my investment, but I think in total I invested like maybe $100 to $150 in different, marijuana companies, some of the largest, figuring, if they legalize it across the U.S., those will go nuts, those stocks. And, a lot of them are very cheap. Some of them are penny stocks. So I still think that's worth investing in, although I ended up selling them. That's the only loss I took. I think it was like a $12 loss on one of the companies, IMF, I think maybe. I know they got bought out and then switched over to another company or something along those lines. And I had like $15 invested or something, and I lost like 12 of it because it crashed. And that particular company, I think, made all the containers, so when you go to dispensaries and you have all your glass jars and your poppers and all those, they were making all that kind of stuff, So I figured they were safe from the feds. Because some of the other companies like growers, if they ever change the laws or whatever, then they can get affected. But I figure, well, if you're just making, like they didn't actually produce or handle any marijuana. They just literally made plastic containers and glass containers for it to be used. Anyway, that's a whole aside. So that was my big loss, $12. But my total investment, just to give you rough numbers, I invested a little over $2,000. And everything said and done, I sold everything today for about $3,900. So I almost doubled my money, which I'm very, very happy about. So I pulled out of everything today to make a bold move. One, was to purchase gold. I've been craving gold for a very long time now. I have, you know, a little chunk of silver here and there, as you guys know, but I never focused on gold so much, and I had just very lackluster collection of, like, you know, 3/4 of an ounce in different incremental pieces. And it was on my like life bucket list to get a 1 ounce gold coin. I just wanted one, and I finally got one. So of course there's processing time and everything for you know, the stock exchanges, so I don't have the money yet, but I did actually end up buying it through AppMex today because it was on sale, and I didn't want to wait for the sale to go away, so I ended up saving like 40 bucks or something like that on the premium. So I was very happy about that. So I ended up ordering it today. I threw it on a credit card, so everything's processed. I can get the money exchanged. I'll end up just paying off the credit card. But that was a very exciting thing. So I took half my money. I basically took my winnings, if you can call them that, winnings, all the money I made, the profit from my stocks. And P.S., yes, I do report everything to the IRS. So I was like, oh, you got to report that. Yes, I'm all about letting the IRS know about everything. Extremely transparent. I do not want any kind of tax issues, tax problems. I report everything. I report a lot of stuff people probably don't even bother reporting. But I do it. I do it because you shouldn't play with the man. They get theirs in the end. You can't win with that. So you should definitely pay your taxes. I don't mind paying taxes. I think what the taxes are ridiculous. I think taxes are extremely high in our country. I'm not going to, you know, get into a whole debate about that. Or it's not really a debate. I don't think anyone would want to debate me. Everyone knows taxes are too high. But it is what it is, and you don't mess with that stuff. You know, the feds, they want their money. They're going to get their money from me anyway. So, yes, that will all be reported. I actually have it all printed out and everything for my accountant. So anyway, half of my investment, my profits all went into gold by buying one single gold piece, which I will show you when it arrives. That'll be a separate video. The original investment got reinvested back into the stock market with these 5 stocks that you see in front of you. Okay, well, these are just representations of those stocks. These are the charts or the graphs, you know, since the beginning of these times is the all-time chart, so you can kind of see where they started from as a company and where they are now. And one thing you might notice, even if you're not into stocks or know anything about this, is that these are all up. These were all down here, and they're all climbing. And you can see they're all pretty much becoming mountains as of recent. Now, all 5 of these companies have the same thing in common. They produce semiconductors. If you don't know what a semiconductor is, well, it's a teeny tiny little microchip. Okay? That is what lets computers work. It's what there's a shortage of right now. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of the great chip shortage. Now, it's not because Lay's can't fill their bags up. It's processing chips. It's microchips. Everything uses it. In 2021, we have them everywhere. They're in your cell phone. They're in your computer, your you know, laptop. They're in your toothbrush, for crap's sake. You know, everything's electronic these days. Your coffee maker, your car. There's something like 3,000 computer chips in every vehicle. And that's why the chip shortage has slowed down production. There's some production that's completely stopped in the automotive industry because they can't get enough of them. So the idea here, obviously, is not only is there a shortage right now, so these stocks have seen tremendous spikes recently, but in my opinion, I think that all 5 of these stocks, any company that makes semiconductors or computer chips, I think they will flourish. They will at least be steady. Not looking to make $1 million bucks, whatever. I'm just this, you know, when I invest in stocks and stuff, it's kind of like just putting money in the bank. If it grows, that's great. But if as long as it stays the same and I'm not losing money, I'm fine with that too. And I think it's logical to think that we're not going to stop using these anytime soon. It's literally part of our everyday life. Even the American government made a statement not too long ago saying it was crucial to start making more of these chips because we, of course, you know, put that overseas. And I think there's a company in Taiwan, which I invested in, which is TSM. And TSM, which is this chart right here, they're located in Taiwan, and they make half of the computer chips in the world. Like, seriously, over 50% or something. Now, of course, we know there's a big threat right now, China, you know, to take over Taiwan. Hopefully it doesn't happen. I'm almost certain we would get involved if they tried to. that would be a very bad thing, because they could just cut off America and then half the computer chips wouldn't be available to anymore. And that would cause a ton of problems. So, I mean, there's always these news stories and always these things, you know, the end of the world is always around the corner. Try not to be all doom and gloom or anything, but it is very important to note that some of these big changes in our world, you know, affect us. Everything affects us in one way or another. But right now, computer chips are affecting everything. Everything. There's, you know, it's just, there's a ripple effect, and you might not realize certain, like, let's say there's one particular company that makes one particular product. They can't get the computer chips for their machines to make that one product, but then that one product is used to make another product. And, you know, our everyday life, there's literally thousands and thousands of things going on that we don't even know about, you know, all around us. But when you hear things like, oh, there's a shortage of this or a shortage of that, and then it affects this and that, it affects everything. Everything affects something else. We have such a tight, like, you know, spider web of interactions with everything. So as one part of the web breaks, the rest sags. You know what I mean? So maybe that's not the best analogy, but that's what I just came up with on the spot. So anyway, I put all my eggs in one basket, so to speak, as far as stocks go. So now 99% of my stocks are for semiconductor companies. These are the biggest 5. These are the most heavily invested 5. And again, what you can see, you know, from these charts is that they've all gone up tremendously. All right. So again, they were very stable for many years. And then all of a sudden we started putting computer chips in everything. Everything became electronic and computerized. And that's why it was starting to grow anyway. But then the chip shortage gave a little spike at the end of all of these. All right. So TSM, again, that's a Taiwanese company that makes a little more than half of the semiconductors in the world. I also invested in NVDA. We have QCOM here, AMD, okay, Advanced Micro Devices, and the one that probably everyone knows, Intel Corporation. All right, and they are also making tons and tons, obviously, of chips, computer chips. So these are my investments. Again, took my original investment, which was spread out across a bunch of different types of industry, and focused it down to one, which I think would be successful or at least stable. That's my thought process is, if nothing else, even if these come back down or whatever, they're going to be stable. We're going to need computer chips for the foreseeable future. You know what I mean? Unless some other technology comes out that makes them null and void, which I can't fathom what would happen. So again, the foreseeable future, at least the next couple of years, if not a couple decades, I think these will do very well. So that's my plan. That's what I did today. I finally invested in more gold, and I finally invested in technology. So yes, this is tech. Instead of, like, you know, being spread out, I have a little travel, little entertainment, little energy, little this, little that. I went heavy, full force into tech, because that's the world I believe we live in, a technological world. And I think it's only going to continue to advance. And with those advancements, we are going to need semiconductors. Now, keep in mind too, I invest in silver and gold. Silver and gold are both very much used in the tech industry. Your cell phone has silver and gold in it. I know, shocking, right? Why do you think people are stealing catalytic converters? If you don't know, there's platinum in catalytic converters, a very expensive precious metal. So yeah, these things are used for all kinds of stuff in industry. It's not just the shiny rings or jewelry, you know. Now I'm a little saddened. You know, I liked watching those stocks go up. I did invest in Carvana. I made some money on Carvana. I think they're going to continue to do very well as a company and grow. I had some little piece of Amazon, little piece of Google. I think those will continue to be steady and grow. I never had any Netflix. I regret not getting Netflix because I had an opportunity when it was less than half of what it is now. But I don't know, streaming services, that can swing any which way. If one other streaming service, you know, like Disney or something, you know, keeps pushing, one of the other ones could kind of take a dump and drop. Who knows? They're all guesstimations. But yeah, I mean, I will miss my stocks. They were like my little babies. You know, I woke up every day. You know, you do your morning routine, and part of my morning routine was looking at my stocks, you know, looking at the stock market throughout the week when the market was open, and watching them go up and down and stuff. So that was fun, but I'm going to continue to do it just with these. It's just there's 5 now instead of whatever I had. I had like 38 individual stocks. Now, investing in individual stocks is the most risk, but it can have the most reward. You know, obviously an individual company can go bankrupt. They can have all kinds of, you know, financial problems. As opposed to like, let's say like the S&P 500 or something. I would love to be more stable if I had bigger lumps of money to invest. If I had like $20,000 to invest, I would certainly put it in something like the S&P 500, which continuously grows. You know, that's a retirement plan right there, you know. But my stock investments were very much, they were intended to be long-term. You know, all the stocks I had, I intended to keep, you know, for 10, 20 years. But things change. And it just changed today. I changed my mind. I bought some gold, which I feel will always have value. You guys know that, or at least you know that I feel that way. But I also foresee a boom. I foresee, you know, all metals going up, and that's why I split my investments, and that was my profit. So that is free gold essentially that I can sit on, and in a real bad emergency, I could sell it. You know, that's what all this stuff is for. It's not for, you know, me saving up for a Lamborghini or something. Or a big house. This is just an emergency fund. If I never have an emergency, this will go to my child one day. You know, these are just investments for the future. I try to, you know, step back and see the bigger picture. If there's some catastrophe, financial catastrophe in my life, at least I have a little bit of a plan B. It's not much. It really isn't much. You can't, I mean, if I sold everything I've ever invested in, maybe I can live for a year without paying any bills or something, you know. But it's not substantial. I mean, people are investing lots and lots and lots of money. So there you go, guys. That's what I'm doing. This is very small potatoes compared to investments in general. People investing thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. It's nothing like that. I do think I have good ideas. I pride myself on my ideas. It happened to work out. When the stock market crashed, all this stuff I knew was going to come back. I felt it. I felt it in my heart, but it was logical. It was like, if they didn't come back, we'd have some big problems in our country, you know? So they did. They came back. I made some money. If I had more to invest, I would have made more money. But I'm a very small scale. You know what I mean? I'm very happy, you know, with my profits that I've made and stuff. But it is very, very small scale. It's just a hobby for me. That's all it is. If I had more to invest, I'd certainly invest in some other things as well. But like real estate would be huge for me, but I don't have that kind of money. So anyway, that is it for now. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic day. Let me know down in the comments section if you make any kind of financial investments. What do you invest in? So many people are very focused on crypto. I do have a little crypto portfolio just to be diverse. Again, very small potatoes compared to most people, but all doing very well right now, knock on wood. You know, the stock market, do you invest in the stock market? Do you invest in metals? You know, I just got a little this, a little that. But again, it's all hobby-based. It's all low level, but it's just a little bit of a plan B, a little bit of a, you know, a safety net. That's all it is for me. It's money in the bank, although the bank won't give me any interest. All my other investments have given pretty nice interest rates so far. So that's it for now. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take it easy.